number 10, a service. This one comes from Reddit user Thisser2, and they start off by explaining that they used to surf the deep web, where would-be hackers and cybersecurity specialists gathered in order to learn a thing or two. While we can only hope they were on the site to use their powers for good, they explain that they encountered plenty of run-of-the-mill information and ID theft, but that the scariest encounter was with one hacker in particular offering up a unique service, which our Reddit friend knew immediately could not have been good news. Upon reading the advertisement, they came to understand that the service was that someone could pay to have a certain type of illegal, immoral, or illicit video uploaded onto another person's computer. The hacker would then report that person to the police, who after a computer search would presumably be arrested. So essentially framing someone for what I can only assume involves a video of, let's call it, a vulnerable person in a compromising position, which is beyond disgusting. Lastly, the user said, quote, "The scariest part was discovering that there were at least 2 people in the chat room that I was in discussing about kernel security who had used that service." Coming in at number 9, a friendly warning. So this next one is simultaneously creepy, but also sort of kind in a weird sort of way. I mean, it's one of those situations where it could have been much worse as far as the crazy stuff that goes on in the deep web. According to a Reddit user, ErnieC377, quote, "A friend of mine claims he was snooping around where he didn't belong, like black market forums and hacking forums, when someone private messaged him basically saying, quote, 'I've looked into you because I see you in here a lot, and I know you're not here to buy or use the services because you're just a kid. I don't mind, but others will, and you haven't protected yourself well enough to be here. Get off if you know what's good for you.'" See what I mean? Like, this warning was from someone who claims to have already hacked into their info, thus why they know that they are a vulnerable member of the population, but at least they're trying to get them to leave before someone worse tries to take advantage of them, I guess. Coming in at number 8, a casual surf. This one comes from a account called fake_fakington, so, you know, read into that however you choose. But I will say, in terms of stories, this one does sound like something that would and could happen. This Reddit user begins by recounting their experience on the early days of the internet, specifying that the deep web was not really a term yet, as, quote, "Everything was deep." They then go on to explain that they were casually surfing when they stumbled upon something odd and cryptic. Through a series of internet maneuvers, they were able to make their way through the rabbit hole to a directory of what appeared to be records a psychologist or similar mental health professional would keep. Quote, "The images were of faxes, apparently of both military and medical nature. While browsing these files, the user noticed something strange. A new HTML file named something like onehello-there.html. However, the creepiest part was that the timestamp was from the exact second. Quote, "I opened it and in plain text was the message, 'We see you.' No quotes, all lowercase. About 15 seconds later, the server dropped. Sometimes in obscure places on the internet, just being seen is scary enough." Coming in at number 7, slow internet. Our next disturbing message was posted to Reddit by user semper_fi_Cerberus, and if I were them, this would definitely stop me from wanting to snoop around the deep web any further. Quote, "It was my 3rd time on the deep web and I was just looking around at sites. I found this one guy's homepage, and on the sidebar I saw a link that said, 'For journalists and people new to the deep web.' I clicked on it hoping that it was interesting and helpful information." Now, I'll pause right there because I'm not entirely sure what they were expecting. I can only imagine that they were young and genuinely believed that a pop-up would lead them to a helpful article. They continue on, quote, "A new page opened and a picture started to load. Thank God for my slow internet because all that loaded was the head of an old Asian man with blood on his chin. I quickly closed the tab before the rest of the image loaded. To this day, I wonder what the whole picture was, but at the same time, I am thankful I didn't see it. I'm gonna say it was probably bad. Reddit friend, very, very bad." Coming in at number 6, drawings. This next one comes from the user Sakioku Shah, and they start off by explaining they weren't looking for anything in particular, but were just curious about what might be on the deep web. So I can only imagine their horror when they came across this. According to our Reddit friend, what they came across was the actual website of a killer who was later arrested for his crimes. To be clear, this wasn't a site about them, it was like their website to advertise what they did. The user explains, quote, "The site featured mainly the killer's own drawings, which depicted killer stuff, which won't be detailed here. Let's just simplify it as gruesome killing and subsequent mutilation of bodies." And just when you thought it couldn't get any more disturbing, Reddit user says, quote, "Though some drawings were simple and crude, others were more lifelike, and all the more disturbing because of it. Eventually, one of the killer's actual photos was loaded, which depicted, let's call them trophies. There were about half a dozen trophies in various stages of decomposition displayed on a shelf." Coming in at number 5, cooking instructions. This next one comes from Reddit user Bacon Boy Loiter and is without a doubt already a nightmare I have had. As is true of pretty much all these stories today, our user begins by explaining that they stumbled across this post on the dark web when they were bored and were, as they put it, dicking around, which I can only hope is true. Now, at first glance, they wanted to believe this was a joke. However, they quickly realized the information was far too detailed and too comprehensive to be the work of a prankster. Quote, "We found a comprehensive guide for cooking women." And yes, that sounds as bad as you'd think. This page had information on what body types to use for specific cuts, how to prepare these cuts, and how to cook the girl so she lives as long as possible. It horrifies me that people way worse than the freaks on Criminal Minds exist. You and I both, Bacon Boy Loiter. You and I both. Coming in at number 4, lunch meetups. So if you thought Bacon Boy Loiter's story was the strangest and most disturbing incident of humans interested in other humans, then just wait for this one. This is like a Criminal Minds episode meets Hannibal Lecter's fantasy. So apparently there is a very large forum on the deep web all for people interested in other people, but not necessarily for dating, rather for devouring. From the sounds of this story in particular, the message gives off the vibe that it's some kind of fetish, but not on behalf of the attacker, on behalf of what we would normally call the victim of an act of this nature. According to this Reddit user, they apparently witnessed members of this forum chat arrange meetups to enjoy each other's flesh. One message in particular read, "I need someone to eat my fresh meat. I am juicy and tender. So yeah, I may never sleep again, and please excuse me while I go vomit, thank you." Coming in at number 3, dancing. No matter how curious I get, I can assure you I would never ever want to see what this next Reddit user stumbled upon. I mean, just reading about it and knowing it exists is more information than I would have ever wanted. According to this next post from Metal Lava, they stumbled across this woman's channel on a video hosting site and were never the same again. Quote, "Some lady posted all these videos of her dancing with this corpse, all rigid, caked up like a corpse. She put on weird music and danced around and sang to it in her room. I mean, what in the Criminal Minds sicko was happening with this woman? And if that weren't bad enough, apparently the corpses in these videos were not what one might call new. There was visible decaying. However, according to our scarred Reddit user, they say, quote, "The worst part was her singing. She sang to the corpse as she danced, and not in any intentionally creepy way. No warbled, slowed down little demon girl melody, just your average, joyful, loving song to a rotting corpse." I guess the question is, where did she find these corpses? Did she also kill them? If so, I can only hope she was caught and sent to jail. Coming in at number 2, evil scientists. Among the other atrocities that you can find in the darkest corners of the internet are apparently forums and footage containing disturbing content that rivals the evil scientists from World War II. Why anyone would be inclined to perform such tasks, or on the flip side want to see someone commit such atrocities, is beyond me, but you know, as we have read about in history books, some people are just messed up. According to the Reddit post they found, quote, grotesque acts such as starvation, radiation exposure, sterilization, and worse were all over the site. Even the slogan of the site is anger-inducing. It apparently reads, quote, not all humans are equal, for some of them were born superior to others. I mean, you can't tell me that's not giving the same energy as a certain 1940s dictator and his army of followers. And we all know what kind of messed up experiments he allowed to happen. All I can hope for is that whoever is posting this disgusting and vile content is caught and sentenced to a life behind bars. And last up in our number 1 spot, Squid Games. As if plucked straight from the dark and sinister writings of the hit Netflix show, there is reportedly a deep website that offers a sort of gambling game to those looking to get somebody killed, which is insane. According to a now deleted Reddit post, they were shocked to stumble across a place where names of potential victims are posted publicly, and other users will make bets about when the target, as they so disturbingly describe them, will die. From there, to make matters even more morbid, once the victim is dead, whoever was the bidder to most accurately guess the time of death will win the pool of money. And when it comes to the black market, you can only imagine how much money these people could be receiving. Like, actually, what is wrong with people? I have to hope that this Reddit user reported this site to the authorities or something, because otherwise, even if they weren't technically participating in the gambling aspect, they were just watching other people literally plot to kill innocent victims.
Number 10, house creep. Are you in the market for a new house? Maybe you and your significant other are looking to upgrade, right? We'd love to see it. Nice. I applaud the changes coming your way. You've earned it. Now, depending which website you pick, you may be stuck living in an otherwise haunted house. I'm not talking about haunted, oh it's old, some doors creak. I'm talking horrible, horrible things have unfolded here under that same roof. Houses where people have passed away. You know, I'll say that. You know what I'm trying to say here. Houses that have been used in some sort of illegal substance operation as well. Again, trying to say what, you know what I'm saying here. It's really up to you. All the categories are right there in front of you. All you have to do is head to housecreep.com and you'll see every option, every dark, horrible option. The website is eerie because obviously it's, it's contents, but it looks like a normal 2022 holiday booking website. It's too casual, you know what I mean? It's gross. I'll be the Hotel Trivago guy, but for this website. Do those weird dances that he does. He's always like, hey, 50% off. Haunted houses. Number 9, your last day. I remember when I was in college one day, I was walking to class and this crazy dude yelled at me and he said I was gonna die in 3 years. So that's really awesome. Now I've since proven that man and his fingerless gloves wrong, but it did have me thinking for those 3 years, right? Now, what if? What if a website did that for you? Not that strange man on the side of the road there. What if a website allowed you, yeah, you, to input your information, to input your name, birthday, weight, height, all that good stuff, Libra, check, let's do this. Now, if you input all that information, you tell deathdate.com what you're working with, and this site should tell you exactly when you'll die. Yeah, I haven't done it yet. I'm kind of too afraid. Should I do it? I don't know. If we do a part 2, then I'll do it. I'll start off by telling you how that website told me I was gonna die. I'll do it. Number 8, simulation argument. Okay, this one's pretty short and sweet. If you can't sleep at night and maybe you need something to read, something around 8 minutes long to, soothe your mind, well, head over to simulationargument.com. That's a good start, I'd say. Any questions you have about simulation theory, be it references in the past, both by philosophers or scientists or even in media, it's almost like a PDF file. Everything you need is right here. No photos, just links and explanations in an orderly fashion. Yeah, here's a blurb from the file. It reads, certainly some modifications are necessary once we admit the possibility of an infinite universe that may contain infinitely many simulated and non-simulated people. In this case, the ratio of simulated people to that total number of people is not defined. Awesome, so we may or may not be real, who knows? Hit that thumbs up if you think I'm real. I promise I am, maybe. Number 7, pointer. So I've never laughed so hard in my life like 2 hours ago. I have to include this because it's actually really creepy when you really think about it. But at the same time, it's one of those things you can't help but love. Pointer.com. Okay, you move your cursor anywhere on the screen and then just let go. And then 1 second later, a photo from anywhere, somewhere from the internet will appear. Now this photo will have somebody pointing directly where you left your pointer on screen. Yeah, you move it a little bit and it finds a new photo instantly of somebody pointing at what appears to be your pointer again. Where do these photos come from? Who are these people? I have no idea. Couldn't tell you, but it's hilarious. It's like people at dinner with their family, but then one guy's in the background pointing. So now it's just there in front of your face. It's so odd. It feels illegal, honestly. If there's one point that really nails it in this list, this one feels illegal, feels very illegal. Number 6, world births and other stuff. Here's a website that looks like the stock market at first, okay? One side is green and it's very active, it's running, it's moving around. And the other side of the screen is red. And it's also, of course, quite active. Not as active, but still up and running. The background is a world map and it updates every single second, showing each and every new birth on this side. It's fast. I sat at my computer at lunch and I just watched thousands of people being born. I was like, congratulations, wow, this is amazing, this is fascinating. Now, of course, the other side is the complete opposite, as you could tell, hence the dark website theme going on in this list. The right side is every death all over the world, instantly. Yeah, refreshing every second. It's so creepy. You're sitting there on your iPad feeling like the watcher of the universe. You're like, ooh. Yeah, a lot of births, it's like this, it's like, a lot of people being born more than people are dying, so pick it up. Number 5, Dianea House. Right off the bat, this next one here is fiction, okay? I'll say that. But it doesn't take away the fact that you can just visit this site and get sucked down this unique rabbit hole. We've all been stuck on Reddit for hours on end, be it videos or discussions, whatever. Am I the asshole? This changes it up a bit if you're looking for something new and otherwise creepy. The tale of the Dianea House takes you on this adventure. It's about 2 men, Mark and Eric, who learned that an old friend they both knew, they killed 2 people, then they ended their own life. Again, it's dark, but also again, it's fiction, I'll remind you. So Mark becomes obsessed with figuring out what went wrong and why their friend did this, yada yada yada. And the Dianea House is this website that you can visit and it shows his string of emails to Eric while he searches for answers. And of course, the way it ends is unique and will leave you sleepless. No spoilers, it's a great time, you know, go for it if you want. It reminds me of when the internet was new and these creepy sites were actually terrifying. Like Peter's Answers or whatever, where you like type in a question, but at the same time you're typing in the answer, and then your friends think that an AI is telling you it's so creepy. Should've put that one in. That one sucked. Number 4, last words. Whew, okay. Again, these titles kind of give away the goods right off the bat. True crime is sweeping the nation. It seems like people are leaning into this now more than ever. You can learn how to draw on eyebrows while listening to a disappearance from 46 years ago. You know what I mean? It's so bizarre. I love it. Olivia and I are fans. We listen to all of our true crime podcasts every morning. We're like making coffee, listening. We're like, oh, that's good. That's really good. It's the best. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice has a list of all its past offenders, as well as all their information and offenses. And most jarring, the website includes their last words. Yeah, it's one of those things you want to see, but you're not quite sure why. You're like, this is dark. This is like some other level. I can't even relate to this shit. Hopefully. That'd be kind of weird if I could. Number 3, summoning demons. Cool. Am I standing in my salt circle for this one? Here we go. We're good. Yeah, depending on your beliefs, this next one will either freak you out or intrigue you. It's kind of weird. How to summon demons. Okay, all you gotta do is head to Angel Fire, or don't. Completely up to you. Let's say don't head there. How's that? There you go. This website is completely legal. They just argue why demons are real, and they also include a fun little charity donation button. You know, in case you summon a demon and want to come back and leave a 5-star review. Hey, thanks so much. Here's 10 bucks. Thanks for Balthazar. We're gonna go clean my foyer. There's also access to other groups that practice Satanism. So if you want to make some new friends, maybe Tinder's not working out, here you go. I'm sure you'll find lots in common with other Satanists on board. I personally think this stuff is hilarious. I don't know. Because I grew up with barely any access to any online textbooks for school that I needed. You know what I mean? Now we have a neatly organized Satan site. Get out of here. Number 2, WikiLeaks. Some good history around this one, gotta include it. In Stockholm, buried around 100 feet below street level, is an old nuclear bunker. Now today, it's a facility owned by Swedish internet provider Bahnhof. This is where they keep servers up and running for WikiLeaks. Yeah, we all know WikiLeaks, right? We use it for, you know, those movies we don't want to pay for. Oh shit, I'm going to jail, hang on. I'm like, oh, the cops are here, I just got arrested, it's crazy. Julian Assange, frontrunner for this whole operation. His hard drive is in said bunker, behind a 2-foot steel door, accompanied by numerous backup generators. So yeah, no one's touching that, I guess. No one's touching his Angry Birds high score. That's locked away forever. In October 2010, WikiLeaks actually published Army field reports from 2004. Now, one of the biggest leaks in US history, this report confirmed that there were over 66,000 civilian deaths in the Iraqi war logs, out of the 109,000 in total. Now, this leak also suggested that some American troops were classifying civilians as enemies in their statistics. Yeah, this is some pretty crazy news, right? These numbers were from 2004 to 2009, so a lot of history we're missing there. So yeah, sometimes these sites bring out some good knowledge, you know, aside from demon speed dating. Sometimes you gotta hear the dirty stuff too. And finally, number 1, the scary maze game. I have to end this video on a good note, you know, so we can sleep a little bit. This one is pretty amazing. You can change somebody's life with this last website if you send it at the right time in their, you know, youth. The scary maze game. The first time you hear about this, you don't hear that word scary, do you? You just hear maze game. I played this for the first time on like a Windows 97. It took 18 minutes to load up too. I was so determined to get through this maze. I had the chair up nice and close. It was right close to the screen. The brightness was on 100%, contrast was low. It was right there. I had it in the bag. I was so close to the end, and then that face popped up. I never forgave my brother. That was it. Family beef was ignited. There we go. Have you ever sent the scary maze game to someone? If so, how did they react? You know, or any of these other websites. Send them these ones too. See how they react. Both will probably be the same. You'll probably get a nice what the f for every link that you send them.
And we're gonna start off with a story posted by Reddit user netcats1. They had become interested in the dark web mystery box trend and decided to give it a try themselves. They ended up regretting it. A box arrived on their doorstep. Box contained several envelopes. They opened the first envelope, revealing a collection of photographs capturing various destinations around the world. The thing is though, to their shock, they began to realize that the pictures were taken of places they had gone on vacation with their family. The following envelope held pictures of their house, meticulously capturing every angle, including glimpses of the interior through their windows. To their horror, the subsequent set of images portrayed the inside of their home, featuring family members engaged in everyday activities. However, the most disturbing photograph awaited in the final envelope, an unsettling selfie of a masked figure standing beside them sleeping in bed. Overwhelmed, countless questions flooded their mind and their anxiety escalated. Nevertheless, their curiosity persisted in compelling them to open the remaining small box. What they found inside nearly caused them to pass out. It was a collection of dog bones, recognizable by the collar as belonging to their beloved pet Charlie, who had passed away 3 years prior and was buried in the backyard. Is this story true? Probably not, but it's still a creepy story. Next up, we have a mystery box unboxing gone wrong. Mindseed TV, who makes a lot of these videos, shared a video on their YouTube channel of a rather disturbing unboxing. And apparently they ended up handing over all this stuff to the police, so if that's true, it's pretty scary. The box was sent to them unexpectedly, and the uploader believed it was sent by the same individual who he had purchased a mystery box from over a year prior. The stuff they pull out gets worse and worse as the video goes on. Starts getting real unsettling though when they pull out a pair of kids' shoes. Take a look at that. Yeah, not something you want to get in a box unless you're, intentionally buying them for your kid. They also received a case containing several surgical tools, a meat grinder, and most disturbingly, they unwrap a ceramic container shaped like a heart, and when they opened it up, they find what looks to be a set of human teeth. Yeah, pretty disturbing, if it's real anyway. At number 8, we have an unboxing from the YouTube channel Luxury Dark. Now, just for starters, I like these guys. Whether what they have in this box is real or not, or was sent by some mysterious person or not, the video is presented really well. I find with a lot of videos like this, it's very played up. It's a lot of overacting and just YouTubers being obnoxious, unlike me, of course. But these two seem genuine. genuine, which I like, and the stuff they pull out, pretty creepy. First of all, they state at the start of the video that the package was dropped off in their backyard by some guy in the middle of the night. Whoever it is doesn't look like a UPS worker or anything like that. Take a look. Word of advice, don't order anything from the dark web right to your home address. Just send it to like a, I don't know, a post office, pick it up there. Anyway, they pull out a stuffed animal, some letters addressed to someone named Michelle. There was also a framed photo of a random family. Seemed like these were items that belonged to someone else, because it would be very strange for someone to send a picture of their own family to a stranger online, although there's all sorts of people in the world, so who knows. They also pulled out a bag of socks, underwear, and hair. Most disturbingly though, they found a USB with footage that looked to be taken from outside of somebody's window. Alright, let's move on to number 7. This next video was uploaded to YouTube by Kira Bridget, and she seems to have done more than one of these unboxings, and I don't get why, if they are real anyway. This one, really gross. First she pulls out a used tissue, and all I could think watching this was she needs to invest in more gloves. She said she was just out, but yeah, she really should have waited till she had some, because she picked this stuff up with her bare hands, and that's the most disturbing part of the whole thing. There's a good chance she just assembled this box herself. There's a chance that's the case for all these videos, but yeah, if this is indeed real, then hey, you know what? I think it was money well spent. Next on the list, we have an unboxing from YouTuber Infinite. Now, he opens a couple boxes in this video, one of which actually has some pretty cool stuff I don't actually buy intentionally, but the first box he opens, again, if this is actually a package he got from some person online, it's pretty nasty. Again, he really should have been wearing gloves. Again, what's with these people not wearing gloves? I'd put a mask on too. Anyway, the first thing he pulls out, with his eyes closed, mind you, which is another mistake, is a bag containing something. Let's take a look. Yeah, it looks kind of like maybe a chicken breast to me with barbecue sauce, and even if that is what it is, still pretty gross to receive that in the mail. He proceeds to open the bag and give it a whiff. Third mistake, and even gets some of the mysterious juices on his fingers, which seems to be leaking from the bag. Ugh. At number 5, we have a video uploaded to YouTube by Jude Summers. Now, I'm pretty new to this dark web mystery box thing, and by that I mean I found out about this today. So I'm not sure if this is true, but he states at the start of the video that he hadn't seen anyone buy mystery boxes off the dark web before. So this could be the very first YouTuber to do it, or at least film themselves doing it anyway. There you go. We're watching history being made. Now, luckily, Jude starts off by putting on a pair of gloves, and it turns out he needed them because the first thing he pulled out of the box was a package of wet wipes with a note reading, "You might need this." So there's gonna be some icky stuff in this box. He proceeds to pull out a few pretty innocuous items, but by far the weirdest and grossest thing he received was a strange, foul-smelling something. Take a look. Looks kind of like a rotten mushroom, maybe? I don't know, but I would not have pulled it out of the bag at all. Again, he should have just been wearing a mask. That thing just looks nasty. Number 4. This next video is uploaded by Juggling the Jenkins. Love that name. It was the day before Halloween, so Tiffany's husband purchased some mystery boxes for her to open on camera, and she got some absolutely lovely new dolls, some animal skulls, and a small little bottle of holy water. Good call. I mainly put this one on here because she's hilarious, and whether the boxes were sent by some creep or just someone having a laugh, it's pretty clear that Tiffany is genuinely surprised about what she's finding, which is far more entertaining than people overacting and playing stuff up for the camera. She pulls out a really disgusting looking doll, and her reaction is priceless. Gotta say, I'd probably have a similar reaction. In one box, she pulls out several taxidermy type items, some animal bones, and what looks to be some sort of shriveled up hand. This next video is brought to us by the YouTube channel Fanatic. And if this is real, it's absolutely insane. I don't know, it's pretty far-fetched, but their reactions seem pretty genuine, so You be the judge. So these guys bought a package off the dark web, and inside of it was what looked to be a burlap sack, and inside that sack was another box. So yeah, as they said, it looks like an ammo box, but what was contained inside of it was completely unexpected. It had a bunch of wet paper towels, and under that was a bag containing this. Yeah, it's just a lungfish in a bag. Now again, this whole thing can definitely be fake, but just looking at the reactions, it seems like they're genuinely surprised here, so who knows? I mean, how stuff like this gets across any borders, I mean, don't they check the packages? But anyway, I mean, it's still cool to see a lungfish pulled out of a box like that. I don't know. I was entertained by this video. At number 2, we have a TikToker named Masked Red. Masked Red, who happens to actually wear a black mask, opens tons of mystery boxes apparently bought off the dark web. He's received all kinds of stuff: watches, a water bottle full of hot dogs. Some of it's pretty mundane, while other boxes have contained more sinister items. Phone containing mysterious pictures. Take a look at this. And this box containing this absolutely nightmarish doll. Yeah, I don't like the look of that thing. No eyes, no mouth. Dolls are the worst. I don't know. Anyone ever seen someone who like collects dolls? I don't get it. If these are real boxes he's buying with Bitcoin on the deep web, he's got some money to spend too, because he's uploaded tons of these videos. And finally though, at number 1, we have what I'm just gonna call Backpack. This video is once again uploaded by Mindseed TV and is pretty well known in the dark web mystery box community, I guess. The creepiest part of this video is when they pull out a child's backpack. Very unsettling. This is one of those videos I really hope isn't real, or at least that the person who sent the package is just trying to creep people out. But contained within the bag was a pair of child-sized shorts and a sweater. Now, as icky and weird as that is, what's interesting about this video is that this is the first package Mindseed TV received from this seller, who he believes sent the unexpected package a year later that we discussed earlier in the video at number 9. And again, you know, whether this stuff is real or not, it does make for a pretty spooky series of videos, so give them a watch if you're interested.
Kicking off the list at number 10, swatting services. Not that SWAT. We'll kick this list off with a more popular dark web original. Swatting services, to swat somebody, is, well, it's just that. You pay this dark web service like $20, and then somebody on the other end makes a fake call with their IP address and stuff all mixed up, and usually it's something life-threatening, or an explosive is involved in this fake claim, and in orderly fashion, a SWAT team will just arrive. They'll literally kick down your door and you'll have no idea. Using phone number encryption or throwaway phones, it's rather easy, dare I say. The price to pay if you get caught for, getting a service like this is obviously not cheap, but still it's quite common. Clint Eastwood was swatted back in 2013, even Simon Cowell got the heat in 2012. Somebody got a swatter to make a fake claim that the producer had been kidnapped, so they showed up and he was at home completely clueless. Imagine kicking down the door and seeing Simon Cowell there. He's like, that was absolutely dreadful. Get on out then, fix me door. The FBI is working alongside international agencies right now to put a stop to it because, well, it's a pretty horrible event for every party involved. Also for the SWAT. Taxpayers' money just gone. Just to kick a door in. Easy. Number 9, stolen goods. Wait a hot minute. People on the internet steal things? I feel sick. I feel betrayed. Yeah, this next one isn't surprising, but still it's pretty batshit insane. There's a professional kleptomaniac who will steal anything for you. He's out there somewhere. I'm not gonna say their name, but they're there. Just not the Declaration of Independence. They probably can't steal that. We've seen a movie on how hard that is to do. All you have to do is send them Bitcoin, a photo of what you want, and voila, stolen goods will arrive. All you have to do is pay a criminal through the dark web. How simple is that? This dude also just loves to steal regardless, because on his site or his little blog, whatever, he has items that he stole for people, but then ended up backing out. Or things he's come across and thought, you know what, that would be really nice to sell through the dark web later on. Yeet. He just steals things and it's like, hey, does anyone want anything? I have tons of things. Horrible. Don't buy any stolen goods, ever. Number 8, always watching. One of my biggest fears when I'm using my computer is that my webcam is still somehow on and running and somebody's watching me. Like I'm covered in Dorito dust at 2 a.m. It's not a great sight. Cover that up. I put a little bit of tape there, that's how paranoid I am. Comment down below if you also taped down your webcams, you freaks. This next one comes from a Redditor who shared their experience with the dark web and their visit, and it gave me goosebumps. This was before Google, they say, when web pages were more or less just basic HTML with JavaScript. They were browsing random threads or blogs, early days of the internet, you know, link to link type deal, reading about labradoodles, whatever you can find. Then they came across this thread that was like an early Twitter almost, just random accounts posting their random thoughts, and at the top of this thread there was a new post with their IP address, and in all lowercase text the message said, "We see you." No, bye. Normally that's not a huge deal, but the message was uploaded right when they were scrolling to the top, and when they clicked another link, another message popped up saying, "Hello there." Okay there, Obi-Wan Kenobi looking ass. Now at that point, I would just break my webcam. It would be gone. I'd fold my laptop backwards. These files ended up tracing back to an IP address in Colorado for somebody who worked in some sort of medical department, so that's nice. In between procedures, he's like, "Hello there, welcome." Number 7. Credit cards. It comes to no shock that around 11 million Americans report credit card theft a year, and the dark web definitely is not helping that. There's this lovely service online that sells credit card information, social security numbers, anything of yours that you don't want out in the public, essentially. They got you covered. It's pretty twisted. The more money you pay, the bigger the account you get is, obviously. Also, I'm talking like money as in $20 to $80. And you have to pay in Bitcoin as well, so it's challenging. This sounds like a terrible idea on so many levels. $20 and then your life is ruined, as well as somebody else's. The FBI is on this. I mean, 11 million Americans go through this, so we gotta figure out something, right? Back in 2010, the FBI ran a fake site and ended up busting 24 scammers, saving around 400,000 victims. That's wild. That's a lot of people. They would have been screwed. Getting back at the rich is one thing, but paying $20 for a CEO's credit card, there you go right to jail. It's that way. Number 6, Netflix. I'm so private about my Netflix account, I have no idea why. Same as my Spotify, I just get anxious. I don't want people knowing that I'm watching glass-blowing shows at 3 a.m. I keep that to myself. That's private time. That's for me. Or cooking shows. Those are both nice. But when it comes to the dark web, people might be using your account. Yeah, imagine somebody else finishing Ozark before you even get to. Worst crime of all. Your account is worth pennies, apparently. On these black market sites, you can piggyback off of a paying customer, have their login and password, and then just secretly use their Netflix. But again, if somebody was watching Peppa Pig at 4 a.m., odds are you'll be suspicious. So these accounts come and go often, hence the low asking price. This is a challenging part of the internet still, especially users that are older and not too aware of the dangers online. These fake emails go out saying it's from Netflix and they're requesting a password change and all that jazz. And people believe it, sadly. I myself almost fallen into one of these traps. I'm like, oh shit, Netflix just texted me about my credit card. I gotta go pay them back. I'm like, oh, Netflix just texted me about my OSAT payments. That's weird, I'm gonna go call them. Number 5, wish pills. Have you ever asked your wish for other wishes? Have you ever tossed a coin into a fountain and then wished all your dreams would just come true? If so, that's pretty normal. We're not gonna ask too many questions here. We've all had a birthday wish. We're dreamers here on Most Amazing Top 10, we get it. But would you ever buy a wish online, let alone buy a wish from the dark web? What does that even mean? Also, let's talk about it. Well, you can pay a small fee and receive a pill, just a pill, that supposedly will grant a wish. There's so much wrong here. I mean, first of all, never order any pill from the dark web. The place is of course littered with narcotics, so that'll go poorly most of the time. And secondly, what a waste of money. Shipping is not cheap. That pill is coming from Chris Angel's home. It's like at least $17. Maybe more. Number 4, mystery boxes. Perhaps one of the most compelling parts of the dark web has to be this mystery box craze. Do you remember this? I remember this. It was scary. YouTubers would just film themselves receiving a random item, or a box rather, from the dark web. Now these items range in designer clothes, maybe it's a new phone, or maybe it's something absolutely horrible. We love to gamble. 50-50. One YouTuber ended up pulling this child's book out, but it was already colored in with all these haunting images and colors. Sometimes you would get nothing as well. Yeah, it's like the internet's shady almost. YouTuber Alex Maynard tossed $100 towards this mystery exchange, and all they got was a note, handwritten of course, that said, "You shouldn't accept packages from strangers. Good luck." Honestly, I think it's the best case scenario here, just receiving a life lesson instead of like, I don't know, a finger. I'll take it, that's good. Number 3, uranium. Ah yes, the key ingredient to making a nuclear weapon. Uranium, good stuff. Back in 1938, the world was changed forever when German nuclear physicists discovered nuclear fission. They discovered what would happen if an atom were to split. Well, what happens is it causes a massive explosion. The bombings at Hiroshima and Nagasaki alone, I mean thousands of lives were lost instantly, and we're still selling small amounts of uranium on the dark web. Humans are awesome. Great. The amount sold, of course, is incredibly small compared to the amount used in warfare, but still, don't buy uranium off the dark web. Don't buy any chemicals from the dark web for that matter. This is a list on what not to do, but what you can do right now is hit that thumbs up. Kind of, change the energy up. Don't buy uranium, instead, hit that thumbs up. Number 2, alien footage. Honestly, there's one thing on this list that makes me kind of want to visit the dark web. This has got to be it. Tinfoil hats ahoy. Not a new phone, not a new watch, but alien footage. That's apparently something that can come your way. I would leave this freak a 5-star Yelp review if I could. Imagine paying an anonymous source some bitcoins and then you get this. This video was found in the depths of the deep dark web and it's a little convincing. I mean, they're showing UFOs whipping through the skies now on news, so that's a normal thing, apparently. So who really knows? The footage is from 1992 and supposedly was filmed in Switzerland, and it shows a cold little alien. Just a little dude. The typical look as well, the big eyes, the big head, humanoid shape, real Independence Day vibes almost, so odds are it's obviously fake. But again, what an odd thing to pay for and then receive from the internet. The full video shows different angles of this little alien being held up by wire in some sort of cold lab. Now, I'm not trying to convince you that aliens are real, at least not in this video. I'm trying to convince you instead to not look for videos of them on the dark web because I had to browse and I saw some shit I want to see. Just don't. And finally, number 1, more mystery boxes. There's a lot of videos of YouTubers opening these things and it's terrifying, so we figured we'd cap this list off with a few of our faves. Crypto NWO uploaded their mystery box adventure quite recently, and it's just as horrible as you'd expect. They open up this stuffed bear wearing leather cuffs, and in the center of the stuffed animal's chest there's a clock. I gotta say, the speed at which they pull this thing out, it looks like an explosive. Don't yank any clocks out from a dark web box ever. Oh my god. They continue and find clothes, a blue mask, like one of those, Jabberwocky masks that's blue, a green little skeleton rubber toy thing, and one of the scariest things of all time, a Luigi walkie-talkie. Yeah, this is when they throw on the rubber gloves, which is a pretty good idea. That's when it starts to get a little strange. Would you ever say hello to a walkie-talkie from the dark web? Are you insane? I would. I'd be like, who's there? Beep, 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 beep. The best part, perhaps, in this entire unboxing video is when they pull out what they think is a phone that vibrates. It's not.
Number 10, tricky smugglers. One of the biggest uses of the dark web is as a black market. There are sites that allow you to buy anything and everything, and unfortunately I do mean anything. But when it comes to buying illicit substances off the internet, some sellers have been extremely creative about their delivery methods. A few Reddit users discussing this told some stories of the most interesting and innocuous packaging they have seen. One user said that they constantly received junk brochures in the mail for cruises, zoos, all sorts of things, and thought nothing of it until they saw their roommate cutting into one to retrieve a bag of powder. Or there was allegedly a comic book seller whose entire back cover was a sheet of dissolvable hallucinogens. Another had seen a collectible Pez dispenser, still appearing to be factory sealed, arriving already filled with pills, not candy. I had a Buzz Lightyear one back in the day, but it never had anything like that in it. So be careful out there, folks. Number 9, we see you. This story comes from a user of the early internet, before Google, an ancient history for some of you, I'm sure. This web-savvy individual often found themselves roaming around random dark web chat sites and found one with some cryptic comments, like people passing notes. Hidden in a JavaScript comment, he found various IP addresses, which is a device or router's unique address. He decided to browse through some of these for fun. We have different ideas of fun, I guess. And he found some of them belonged to servers with little to no security. Not planning on doing anything nefarious, just window shopping, he was flipping through one that seemed to have a lot of files of various sizes, mostly images of faxes, financial documents, and even some medical records. But after a while, a new file appeared, titled "Hello There." When he opened it, it was a simple text file with one line written, "We see you." About 15 seconds after opening it, the server went down. Something like that would make me not want to internet for a long while. Just don't go poking through people's stuff. It's that easy. Number 8, your wish is my command. This story was told as a first-hand account from someone who has allegedly been in a psychiatric hospital since it happened. When he was younger, a rumor went around his school that there was a website on the dark web that could grant almost any wish you wanted, for a price. All you had to do was solve a cryptic puzzle. They don't go into detail about what it was or how they solved it, but it was hard enough that none of their friends did. When they got in, there was a simple form that you had to fill out for some personal information, and then a box where you entered your wish. Obviously, you should never give out your information to a sketchy website, but they didn't know any better. They started with a small wish as a test, a new Xbox. They hit enter, and the screen changed to a simple line of green text. Your wish is my command. Then the website kicked him back to the landing page. Nothing happened for a few days, so he figured it must be bogus, until he got home and found a package waiting for him at the front door. No name, no return markings. He quickly grabbed it and ran upstairs so that his parents wouldn't see, and sure enough, inside was a brand new Xbox. Overjoyed that it worked, he told his friend at school, and they didn't believe him, and so they said to wish for something bigger to prove that it was real. He went home and entered a new wish, for 2 of his old friends from his last school in another state to come visit. The screen said, your wish is my command. Later that night, he heard his parents talking about a car crash on the weekend, where a father died bringing home some presents for his kids, and some of the items were missing. A few days later, there was another package on his front step when he got home from school, but this time, it was bigger and heavier. He dragged it inside and up the stairs, and when he opened it in his room, it filled with an ungodly stench. And when he got the nerve to look inside, he saw the faces of his 2 friends staring back at him, their heads neatly wrapped inside the box. In hysterics and not knowing what to do, he frantically called for his parents, and when they saw what was in the box, they assumed he had something to do with it, and they went to call the police. He frantically went back to the website and wished for his parents to keep quiet about it. Your wish is my command. Almost as soon as he hit enter, he heard the sound of glass breaking and 2 thuds. He went downstairs and saw his parents lying on the ground, dead from bullet wounds. He was arrested and stuck to his story, which landed him in a hospital for the rest of his life. Telling the story is a warning to anyone who would listen. Be careful what you wish for, I guess. Number 7. Send again. Another tale of an illegal purchase gone wrong. Someone who obviously remained anonymous online told the story of how they wanted to buy some party-enhancing substances from the dark web. They found someone on the black market who came highly recommended. What, is there a Yelp for these guys or something? He gave the seller the info for his family cottage, where he was going to secretly take his friends for a getaway party weekend. But when he got there was no package to be found. Figuring that the dealer tried to cheat him, he messaged saying that he never got the goods. Surprisingly, the seller responded, apologizing, and said that he would send more this week. So they rescheduled to have another party the next week. But when it rolled around, the same thing happened. So he messaged again, thinking this person just took the money and ran. But to his surprise, they said they would send twice as much to make up for it, all for free, which our party planner was skeptical to believe. When he got to his cottage the next weekend, there was no package waiting for him, but he did overhear his neighbors talking with someone over the fence. When he took a peek over, he saw his elderly neighbors giving a report to the police. They had been receiving box after box of illegal substances with no postmarkings, and they felt unsafe. Our party planner kicked himself. He wasn't getting cheated, he just entered the wrong address. So I guess there can be honor among criminals after all. Number 6. Willing victim. Now this one actually is a true story. In 2001, a German engineer named Bernd Brandes answered an ad on a dark web forum for people with a fetish for eating other people. Absolutely horrifying that these people exist, but he answered a post looking for a willing participant, wanting to be eaten. He met with Armin Mewis, and they proceeded to videotape 4 hours of the 2 of them discussing what to do, and then they shared a meal made from Burns's reproductive organ. After which, Armin allowed him to go upstairs and take a bath, where he bled out until he was almost unconscious. Armin then stabbed him once, killing Bernd, and then he cooked and ate various parts of him over the next few days. He was arrested and jailed for his crimes, but since everyone involved was completely willing participants, he only received 8 years and 6 months in prison. He is now a vegetarian. Number 5. Red Rooms. Red Rooms are an urban legend that have been around as long as the dark web has. They are allegedly a place where disgusting people could watch horrible things happen to someone in the room and pay to decide what happens next. And obviously the room is red to denote what will happen in there. There are true horror stories of people browsing the dark web, stumbling into these places and seeing unforgettable things and never accessing the dark web again. There have been a few instances where people were caught and jailed for operating these things, and I won't give their names because that will simply give them more notoriety. But some have been caught after torturing and eventually killing up to 30 people, all at the request of people donating massive amounts of money. And if you ask me, those people are just as evil as the scum who would do this to another human being. Number 4. Light web. Okay, I need to talk about something light and fun after all that before we get to our top 3. While yes, a lot of the activity on the dark web is illegal and dark, as the name would suggest, there are sometimes wholesome moments from anonymous folk. On the same black market where you can find hitmen and illegal substances, some users have found more innocuous sellers. A German man who only sells soft pretzels, for instance. I guess they're so good he needs to sell them secretly. Or an auction for Bill Clinton's old saxophone, or my personal favorite, a Reddit user who didn't quite get what he asked for. The user bought a mind-blowing experience from someone on the black market. There was no explanation as to what it would be, but he purchased it anyway. When he got the package, he didn't didn't know what to expect, but when he opened it, he didn't find a severed head or pills, but a used dustbuster. He commented that even though it wasn't what he expected, he wasn't disappointed and busts dust with ease on the daily. Number 3, one-word story. Okay, back to the spooky stuff. This story was posted by a user named Anthony. He liked to play a game called One Word Story, where each player puts out one word at a time, and once someone says period, the sentence is over and read back aloud. He found a link to a site on the dark web for real players, promising an experience like no other. He played with a few large groups of people, but still the stories weren't good enough for him. Just before logging off for the night, he saw a private chat room in the horror section that only had one person in it. He clicked in, but it was locked with a password. Suddenly, the power in their apartment went out, only for a few seconds, and when the computer booted back up, it was still on the website. But now the chat room was open. He joined, and the other user began the game immediately with I, bold, because this can lead to some embarrassing sentences for the person to read. Anthony responded with C. They sent back you. He said through, and then your came back. And looking around his room, Anthony noticed his window letting in a breeze, so he said window. The user typed period. He read the sentence back aloud. I see you through your window. Haha, very funny. Clearly this person had played before and wanted to creep him out. They continued playing, swapping words back and forth until more sentences were made, but it seems the other user had a story planned the whole time. They traded words. You are not safe. This sent shivers down his spine. The next sentence became I am coming for you. There was a chat window next to the game screen, and Anthony told the other player to cut it out or he would leave the game. They replied with look out your window. As he did, he saw a figure dressed in black, standing near a lamppost. Then the lights went off in his apartment again. When they came back on, the figure was gone. Anthony looked back at the computer and one word was on the game screen. I. Tentatively, he responded am, and then one more appeared that made him cover his mouth to keep from screaming. It said here. I am here. He heard a loud pop, and suddenly there was a hole in his computer screen. In the center was a bullet, lodged into the monitor. It must have come from behind him. He ran upstairs and hid in his closet under his dirty clothes. He heard his front door open and footsteps walking through the house. He even saw their boots walking in the bedroom from under his closet door. He stayed there all night, even after they left, searching what seemed like the whole house. The next morning, he returned to his computer, and in the part of the screen that wasn't destroyed, the chat window was visible, with one word. Rematch? Number 2, Mariana's Web. Mariana's Web is allegedly the darkest, most secret, and hardest to access part of the dark web. It gets its name from the Marianas Trench, no, not my favorite band, the deepest place in the ocean. Supposedly, this is where you can find the darkest secrets humanity has ever had, from the Vatican secret archives to the location of Atlantis to databases of the world's intelligence organizations. Some even believe that there is an all-powerful AI running it. Many people have come forward saying they have decrypted data packages from Mariana's Web, but it's all been debunked. And what was proven to be real information was already available elsewhere. It is supposedly only accessible through quantum computers, which are super cool, but I don't have time to get into that right now. Either way, getting there isn't easy, and it's not meant to be, if it even exists. I don't think that I'd want all of humanity's secrets out there for anyone with a VPN to access, so let's hope it is just an urban legend. Number 1, scavenger hunt. This story starts with Trevor visiting the dark web to buy a mystery box from the black market, something he'd done before. Nothing illegal, just interesting, useless stuff usually showed up. But this time he bought from a different seller, who offered ones for 18th birthdays. A few days later, he got it, and the box strangely had instructions. It said that he was about to be set out on a birthday treasure hunt, and had to burn all of the letters once they'd been read or solved. Fun game, he thought, and I personally do love a scavenger hunt. The note was signed by Pete, his childhood best friend whom he'd not seen in years. Maybe he was the one who sent the box, or the seller contacted him to make it more personalized. The first clue was a piece of paper that said Van Mace. After staring at it for a few minutes, he realized it was an anagram for man cave, what he and Pete had called Pete's basement growing up. He burned the note, sure that he had solved the clue, and drove to his old friend's house. Using the spare key he still had, he entered the back door leading into the basement and saw the next clue, an ace of spades and a picture, stabbed into the wall with a folding pocket knife. He pulled the knife from the wall and examined the picture. It was another place he and Pete would go when they were younger, a clearing in a forested area behind their old school, not too far away. He burned the picture and the ace of spades, keeping it in mind for later. When he arrived at the clearing, there was a shovel sticking out of the ground near a fresh mound of dirt. Ah, spade. Very clever. He started digging through the dirt, and not long later he hit something solid. He kneeled down and brushed away the dirt to look for his next clue, but instead he saw the face of Pete. He was buried in a shallow grave, and there was blood on his shirt where he had been stabbed repeatedly. In shock and devastated by the loss of his friend, he called the police and told them he'd found a body and to please hurry. As soon as he hung up, he realized that he had burned every note with the instructions, that his fingerprints would be all over Pete's basement and the key he used to get in, and that the knife that was undoubtedly used on Pete was in in his pocket, and he was holding the shovel that was used to bury him. Somebody had set him up, and who would ever believe a story as crazy as this?
Starting off this countdown, we have Cicada 3301. Now this is one of the most famous internet mysteries of all time. So it all started in 2012 when a mysterious organization, Cicada 3301, posted a weird message on 4chan. According to the message, there was a secret hidden within their posted image, and they were recruiting highly intelligent individuals to try and solve it. They said that solving this would lead them on the road to finding them, and that they looked forward to meeting those that solved it. Well, it turns out that by opening the image file in a text editing app, a string of characters would appear. When decoded, it led users to a website with even more weird messages. Some say that they solved the mystery. Others say that those who completed the puzzle are recruited for something and are never heard from again. What are they recruited for though? That's what I would like to know. In our 9th spot, we have Heaven's Gate. This was a creepy and popular American religious cult on the internet that believed in UFOs. In 1997, police found 39 members of the cult dead inside of a house. Apparently, the members took their lives in order to ascend and board an extraterrestrial spacecraft and go to another planet. They were all found wearing arm patches that read Heaven's Gate Away Team. To this day, the website is still up and running, and no one knows who's running it. Now in 2015, the administrators behind the website did do an email interview. In the interview, they called themselves Tela, which stands for the evolutionary level above humans. They claim that the dead members are actually alive and have transcended their human bodies, and that they will come back eventually. To this day, their identity still remains unknown. In our 8th spot, we have Chip Chan. This is one internet mystery that has always left me unsettled. Chip Chan is the name given to a Korean woman that was discovered in a 4chan webcam thread in 2008. It immediately caught the attention of a number of people because the footage revealed this woman sleeping in unusual positions for long periods of time at unusual times of day. In fact, at first, people thought that she was dead. She also sleeps in weird positions like on a chair or on the floor. After doing further investigation, users found that this woman believes that a mind control weapon was implanted into her ankle bone and under her left eyebrow. This chip is said to control her, and that's what's making her sleep all the time. She also claims that she is being held by a corrupt officer named P, and that she installed these webcams into her home so that she can see what happens to her when she's sleeping. This story is just so freaking creepy, and I don't think it's ever been solved. In our 7th spot today, we have Kanye Quest. Yep, not Kanye West, Kanye Quest. Kanye Quest 3030 is an RPG game that was released in 2013. Now it seems just like a silly game. It centers around Kanye West, who on his way to take out trash travels through a wormhole and into the future. He then has to take down an evil dictator, and you got Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre in it, and you can have a rap battle with them. Now the game seems pretty harmless. That was until a player found out the game's dark secret. At one point in the game, you can interact with a displayed message. It seems like gibberish at first, until people realized it said, "Ascend and worship the based god." Further on in the game, you are asked to enter a prompt, and you can type anything you want. But if you type ascend, the whole game changes and you're put in this secret area. Eventually, players got to a screen that congratulated them on being an open-minded and curious thinker. They then instructed the player to not tell anyone about what they found. It then asks if you wish to participate. If you click yes, then they give you instructions on an exercise that you need to complete. Furthermore, players discovered a QR code that led to a now defunct website. In the end, it was discovered that the game has been tied to the religious cult of Ascensionism and to a mysterious company, Ascension Records. The true meaning of the secret of this game has remained unsolved to this day. Coming in at number 6, we have Jack Frozy. Now there are a number of creepypastas out there about someone dying and then their loved ones receive phone calls or Facebook messages or texts from the dead person. Well, this actually happened in real life. Jack Frozy was a 32-year-old man from Dunmore, Pennsylvania. In June of 2011, he died suddenly and unexpectedly from a heart arrhythmia. 5 months after Jack's death, his friend received an email from Jack's account with the subject line, I'm watching. Soon his family started getting emails from Jack as well. Now of course they didn't believe it to be Jack for a second, but whoever it was, they knew intimate details regarding his friends and family, details only Jack would know. To this day, no one knows who sent these emails. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with GhostNet. This is the name given to a large-scale cyber spying operation uncovered in 2009. In fact, it has been described as one of the most extensive operations ever uncovered. Yet, no one knows who was behind this operation. So in 2009, it was found that an organization infiltrated over 1,000 computers across 103 countries. They did this by sending emails with attachments or links to individuals or organizations. By opening the file, the user would unknowingly download a virus onto their computer that allowed the hackers to gain complete control of their computers, so they could read and send data and even turn on someone's webcam and microphone. Like I said, no one knows who was behind this, but since the network originated in China, some believe that the Chinese government had something to do with this. Others believe that the CIA or the Russian government were behind this. In our 4th spot, we have the most mysterious song on the internet. This is the title given to a song with an unknown name, sung by an unknown artist with an unknown origin. It all started when a man named Darius came across an old cassette and liked a song on there and wanted to find the name of it. Him and his sister couldn't figure it out, so they turned to the internet for help. Soon, thousands of music enthusiasts came forward to try and figure out this song. To this day, no one has figured out who's behind this song, hence why it's given the name the most mysterious song on the internet. What's even weirder is when the song was shared online, a number of people recognized it. They said that they have heard it before, they just can't put their finger on it. In our 3rd spot, we have Markovian Parallax Denigrate. This mystery started back in the 90s and revolves around a number of weird and confusing posts that appeared to be complete gibberish. Back then, there was something called Usenet, which was like a forum. On August 5th of 1996, hundreds of weird messages started appearing on Usenet. No one knew what they meant, but people knew that they were related because each post had one thing in common. The subject line read Markovian Parallax Denigrate. Turns out that these are secret codes, but no one has been able to crack them yet. In our 2nd spot, we have Ted the Caver. Now some say this is merely just a creepypasta, whereas others believe it's a true story. I'll let you decide what you want to think. Back in February of 2000, a man known only by the name of Ted the Caver posted about exploring an unknown virgin cave passage in the US. According to Ted and his journal entries, when him and his friend entered the cave, they found a narrow passageway with a small hole. So they drilled the hole and decided to explore it further. But as they went to explore this cave, weird things began to happen. Him and his friend heard ghastly screaming, they found weird hieroglyphs on the cave walls, and apparently encountered evil spirits in the cave that followed them home. All of this was backed up with images of him and his friend exploring the cave. The last post was on May 19th, 2001, when Ted revisited the cave and said he would update everyone when he returned home. He never updated the post, making people believe that he never returned home. In fact, this mystery was so popular that a horror movie was made off of it. And in our number 1 spot today, we have the Lake City Quiet Pills. Now, this is another very weird and wild one. So it starts with the death of a Reddit user, Religion of Peace. He was a moderator for the subreddit Jailbait, which is disturbing on its own. But he mainly posted about his military experience and guns, and would encourage posts to get people to upload pictures on his website, lakecityquietpills.com. But as many investigated his site, they realized that hidden inside the site's HTML code was a motto. It said, and I quote, "Dispensing Lake City quiet pills to lousy bastards in need of permanent rest since 1968. It continued on saying, "Shade is maintaining the calendar and access to the file dump. Angel has the job postings for EU and Asia. We aren't sending anyone to me. No one. Don't ask for listings." Then what followed were what appeared to be job listings. Here are some. Immediate need, 8 to 10 Chinese Korean, fluent, Korean dialect accent, details after contact. 12-week, half pay. And they went on to say that they needed Arabic French people. No papers, no problems. A lot of people then theorized that this site was used as a way to pass assassination jobs back and forth. As people dug further, they found a government-owned bullet factory in Missouri called Lake City Ammunition Plant. Meaning, the quiet pills that they're referring to are bullets. I mean, yeah, you get shot by one of those and you'll be quiet. So maybe this website was a front for some illegal activity.